How you doing? My name is Daniel Duke and I'm the co-founder of DoxFlowy. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how the forms and questionnaires work, how to edit them, and all the little nuances of the forms and questionnaires so you know how to work with it and you know how to edit it to make it reflect your brand and collect the data that you want to collect. So first and foremost, this name here, Bill of Sale Agreement, this is for you and it will not be shown to the end user. It's kind of letting you know what's going on and what's happening. But the name that will be shown to the end user, at the top of the page is this bill of sale for a seller. I have actually edited this. It comes with a default name like page 1. You can actually add multiple pages, which you can do here to the right with insert page break, and extra pages will be given a default name. Let me just show you. This is seller page 2. It'll take the name of the tag and then give it a page number to make it easy to understand. And then you can obviously edit the name of section, right? So I've edited this one to say seller information. Now let's look over to this right sidebar and figure out what's happening here. First and foremost, multiple questionnaires will be generated if you have multiple roles. Each questionnaire will contain questions generated based on the tags for that role. So for the seller, multiple tags were generated such as full name, street address, etc. based on the tags in the original document that we edited. And if we go over to buyer, multiple tags were also generated based on the information they need to fill out. So default tags, the ones that we've created in our system ready for you to use, those work a bit differently. It'll already have a question associated with it, and you can edit that question as you see fit. Whereas your own custom tags always have a short answer question, and you can actually change that as you see fit. But it's important to note that the way to change that question is you'll need to delete it, like I'm doing here. You need to delete it. And then you need to add a new question based on the format that you want. So let me just say short text, for example. And then I'll need to map to a tag, which is state territory. Tags that have not already been used will appear there. So that's how you map questions or change the kind of question that you want for your custom questions. And so you go through this process, you update the questions for each. You can change the text of the question by editing the question. So what is the date of the agreement? I can change that. What is the agreement date? Then I can also provide a description. This will appear below the question, just a little like helper text really. And then make sure you click check and you're good to go. You can also move questions to a new page. You first have to create a page because all of the questions for whatever role you select are by default on a single page. Then you can create a new page and then you can move questions to that page. Let me show you what that looks like. So you can, if there are multiple pages here, you can select here. I only have one additional page, right? So form settings are not associated with a single role. These form settings are general for all of the roles associated with this particular document. You can add your own logo. And then as you can see, this is the theme or the color of the form. And I can change it. And I can add my own custom colors. So you can add your own brand colors. So I can now choose black as an option. As well as the button color. This is like when you have multiple pages or any other buttons associated with the form, like submit your answers. You can actually change that depending on your preferences. And the button text color as well. You can change this. Let me add black. So now I have a black theme with red buttons and then red button color text, but it should actually work better as white button color text. So now you have the option of adding a welcome screen. And again, this is for the entire form. You can choose to show a welcome screen. Maybe please fill out this form for XYZ. It's up to you. You can create a headline and you can also create a sub headline or welcome description. And you can add a custom button. So after someone has filled the questionnaire, you can also add what's known as a success screen. This is kind of like the thank you screen. Header, subheader, message, and then button text. And you can add a URL to redirect people to. Now keep in mind, if you have other options like in the document settings to download the document, this may be overwritten. And finally, let's look at conditional logic. Now, conditional logic allows you to have more control over which questions someone will receive and how your form works in general. Now, your conditional logic here is based on a rule. So the questionnaire for the specific rule. Now, you want to select a question. All of the questions related to this questionnaire will appear here. And then you have a couple options: is equal to, is not equal to, contains, does not contain, or is greater than. That's when it's like a number. And then you can enter a value here. So if what is the agreement date is equal to September 1st, or what is your street address and it contains road, right? Then this is what you want to happen. You want to automatically complete the survey, hide question, hide the entire page, or mark the question as required. So let's say you chose to mark the question as required. Which question do you want to mark as required, right? And then, so the questions will now appear here. Or say you want to hide a question, then the question that you can hide appear here. Now, let's say you want to hide a page. The page that you want to hide will appear here, right? And then say you want to mark a question as required, the questions will appear here, and so on and so forth. So you choose the action, and then depending on the action you choose, there's another item or then another action you can take based on that. So then you can go ahead and save the conditional. Now, moving back to the questions, there's something called the instruction page. Now, this is a unique type of page that only appears when certain conditions are met within your conditional logic. Now, what this is used for generally is when someone doesn't kind of meet the criteria for what you're offering. Maybe they're too young or they're in the wrong state. Depending on the questions, you can send them this instruction page, or maybe the money they want to invest isn't high enough for this particular package that you're offering. Whatever the case may be, you can send someone to this instruction page and give them specific different instructions. You can even add a button to redirect them. You can even do it as a form of payment. You can even do it as thank you for filling out the form, please pay here. And then you can add a button to your pay or a payment link, whatever the case may be. So now keep in mind, this instruction page does not appear by default. It only appears when you create conditions and they meet those conditions. So you can add instruction, but a specific button, and then text, and then what kind of action. Of course, you can select which page they go to. You can enter a URL. You can immediately end the form. So those are different nuances and settings for the questionnaire. So you should have a general idea of how it works and be able to navigate your way around.